Hey everybody, I'm Deborah Richmond. The quilt behind me is called Mountain View. This is a quilt that I've done that is more of a modern. This quilt has no pattern per se. It simply has cutting guidelines as far as to how you make this quilt. I really like patterns that don't have real specific instructions. So it gives you some freedom, some leeway to kind of make the quilt the way you'd like to. So let me show you how I put this one together. As you can see, this is all done with blue and brown batiks are the backgrounds, and then we have a blue print that runs along to make the mountain peaks. Now this one is very this is actually a scrap. It has several different types of fabrics in it, but they are all in the same color family. Now this quilt is made up of 5-inch squares. That's the very controlled part of this. Each one is a 5-inch square, and I'll show you the square right here. And then it's the same square over and over and over, depending on the angle of the strip in the middle makes the pattern. Now you also see it's a very non-uniform pattern, so that the zigzag is not exactly the same everywhere. Also, the width of the strips is not exactly the same everywhere. I like that variation, that more organic feel to this type of a quilt. So let me show you how this goes together, how we do the blocks. Okay, so the finished block that we are making is going to be a 5-inch block. To accomplish the 5-inch block, we are going to start with actually a 6-inch square. Now, these don't have to be perfectly cut because we're going to be cutting this down to the 5-inch size. So this is where we're going to start, 6-inch square. And we're also going to have some strips of fabric that will be the peaks. Now the strips of fabric, you can cut them to a specific width if you like, or you can vary the width. You can also make them not exactly perfectly straight on both sides. So in other words, it might start 2 inches here and end up 1 inch there. It all depends on the type, how much variation do you want in your block. I like a lot of variation, so I did a lot of different sizes as far as width of the strips. So once we have our 6-inch square cut, we can go ahead and we're going to want to slice this square. And it can be anywhere you want it. So I like it about here. Now you can cut several of these at a time, and several will have the same place for the slice, or you can cut every single one of them very differently. Completely up to you. So this is their basic, there's your sliced piece. Now we're going to take that strip and we're going to sew it onto this side of the slice. Okay, so you can see here this block has been sliced. We have now added this strip to it on this side, and now we are going to sew this other side of the square onto it so that we're recreating our square with the slice in it. And when we're finished, it looks like this. Now let me show you what I like about this type of sewing is that it's not about precision. I like that. Much of quilting is about precision. This type of quilting is going to give you a break from that. You're going to not have to be perfect. So you can see I have not lined these up that perfectly. It's okay. We're going to cut this down to a 5-inch square so that when we're done, it will be a perfect square. Much of this is going to be cut off. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and give us a straight edge on this side, and get our 5-inch on this side, and then let's square it up, get a good straight inch. I'm going to line up my ruler so that one of this line here is right on the side of that fabric that I know is already straight. I'm going to cut this just to make sure this side is a perfect square, turn it around, and now all I got to do is line it up. I like to line it up again just so that I can see that the line again is here and that it's a nice 90-degree angle here and here. 5 inches. Cut this off. We now have the 5-inch square. Now once you have this square, some of them you'll turn this way, some you'll turn this way, so that you'll end up with this nice zigzag. Play with the placement, play with the different places where you slice it. It makes for just a really organic looking quilt without a whole lot of effort. And this is, again, this is a nice way to have a break from all of the precision and points and things. There's nothing here to match. Everything goes in as it is. Sometimes these will line up, sometimes they'll be a bit off. That's okay. That's what this one is all about. It's supposed to be a much more natural, organic feel. Okay, so looking at the quilt again, I want to show you that, again, all of these lines do not have to line up exactly. This strip stops here. The next one is actually lower and goes that direction. What I did do with this, I made a rule that I did want them up, up, down, up, down, up, down to make the mountain peaks. Every once in a while I break the rule. And I like to do that sometimes with these quilts. It's make a rule and then once in a while break it. So here again is where I've broken the rule. I've gone down, up, down, and I went down again. I just kind of like to vary it so that as you're looking at it, you get something, your eye keeps moving around the quilt to those places where it isn't exactly uniform. And here's another one where the two did not line up. That's okay. It's all right in this quilt. This is supposed to be a very free-form feel. Thanks for joining me.
And be sure to subscribe to our channel. You can do so here by clicking the subscribe button. That way you'll find out about new videos as they become available.